Imagine a young boy growing up in the depths of the Great Depression, learning hard lessons about life, money, and the importance of service from the very start. Truett Cathy, born in Eatonton, Georgia, in 1921, came from humble beginnings. He was one of 7 children in a family struggling to make ends meet. His father, Joseph Cathy, had been a farmer, but the economic collapse hit the family hard. It was his mother, Lilla James Cathy, who showed young Truett the first glimpses of business acumen by starting a boarding house. Watching her work long hours, cooking meals for guests and running the house with care, Truett began to understand that hard work, kindness, and service could lead to success. The Cathys moved to Hapeville, Georgia, a small town near Atlanta, when Truett was still young. Growing up in this tight-knit community, he began to display a sense of entrepreneurship early on. By the time he was just 8 years old, Truett was selling soft drinks and magazines door-to-door, helping to support his family. These early experiences formed the backbone of his future business philosophy: treat people well, and they'll come back. After high school, Truett served in the U.S. Army during World War II. When he returned home, he knew he wanted to own a business, and he convinced his brother Ben Cathy to go into business with him. The two scraped together $10,000, an enormous sum at the time, and opened a tiny restaurant called the Dwarf Grill in 1946, located in Hapeville, near the bustling Ford Motor Company plant. The name Dwarf was chosen because the restaurant was small, almost comically so, and it served bite-sized hamburgers, known as sliders. But what the Dwarf Grill lacked in size, it made up for in hospitality. Truett and Ben worked tirelessly to make their restaurant a success. Open 24 hours a day, the Dwarf Grill quickly became a local favorite. Factory workers from the Ford plant would stop by for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, drawn by the restaurant's warm, inviting atmosphere and Cathy's dedication to excellent customer service. Truett believed deeply in making customers feel welcome, and it wasn't long before the Dwarf Grill earned a reputation for being more than just a place to grab a quick bite. It was a place where people felt valued. Tragedy struck in 1949, just a few years into the business. Ben Cathy died in a plane crash, leaving Truett devastated but determined to carry on. The loss of his brother was a huge emotional blow, but Truett knew that Ben would have wanted him to keep the business running. He poured everything he had into the Dwarf Grill, often working 80-hour weeks. His dedication to quality food and customer satisfaction became the cornerstone of his future success. As the years went on, Cathy began experimenting with new ideas. While the fast food world was dominated by hamburgers, Cathy had a different vision. In the early 1960s, he wanted to create a chicken sandwich that could be prepared just as quickly as a hamburger, but without sacrificing quality. After countless trials in the kitchen, Cathy discovered the secret: pressure frying. By cooking chicken fillets in a pressure cooker with peanut oil, Cathy could create a sandwich that was both juicy and flavorful in just a few minutes. The result was a tender chicken breast, served on a buttered bun with 2 simple pickles, a sandwich that would become the hallmark of Chick-fil-A. The sandwich wasn't just a culinary breakthrough, it was a strategic business move. Cathy had created something unique in a market saturated with burgers, and he was careful to maintain quality control from day one. While the pressure-fried chicken sandwich quickly became popular at the Dwarf Grill, Cathy didn't immediately jump into franchising. Instead, he wanted to ensure that his product was perfected before expanding. His patience would pay off in the years to come. In 1967, after years of perfecting his recipe, Truett Cathy took a bold step and opened the first Chick-fil-A restaurant at Greenbrier Mall in Atlanta. At the time, opening a fast food restaurant in a mall was almost unheard of. Malls weren't yet seen as hubs for food service, but Cathy believed they were the future. It was a calculated risk, but it worked. The convenience of the mall location allowed Chick-fil-A to cater to hungry shoppers, and soon, the restaurant became a go-to spot for a quick, high-quality meal. What set Chick-fil-A apart wasn't just the food, it was the service. Cathy emphasized treating every customer with care and respect, creating an environment where guests felt welcomed, much like his family's boarding house years earlier. His business mantra, "It's easier to succeed by helping people succeed," was deeply rooted in his upbringing and faith. At the same time, Cathy made a radical decision that would define Chick-fil-A's brand for decades to come: closing on Sundays. This was a direct reflection of his Christian faith. He believed that Sundays should be a day for rest and worship, for both himself and his employees. It was a bold move in an industry that thrives on weekend sales. Yet, Cathy was unbothered by the potential loss in revenue, convinced that this practice would ultimately lead to greater success. Indeed, it has been estimated that Chick-fil-A loses over $1 billion annually by staying closed on Sundays. Yet, the decision has never wavered. It's one of the company's defining features and a reflection of Cathy's deep commitment to his principles. Unlike many fast food chains that rapidly expand without much oversight, Cathy approached growth cautiously. He believed in quality over quantity, and that extended not just to his food but to the people running his restaurants. Chick-fil-A developed a unique franchise model. Operators could only run one location at a time. This ensured that franchisees would stay personally invested in their stores, maintaining the high standards of quality and service that Cathy demanded. The company grew steadily throughout the 1970s and 1980s, with Chick-fil-A locations popping up in malls across the Southeast. As the brand grew, so did its reputation for exceptional customer service. In the early years, Cathy personally hand-picked franchisees, ensuring that they shared his values. Chick-fil-A became known not only for its iconic chicken sandwich, but also for the warm, friendly atmosphere at each location. In the late 1980s and 1990s, the company began to expand beyond malls and into freestanding locations, another calculated move that allowed Chick-fil-A to compete directly with fast food giants like McDonald's and KFC. As new locations opened, the focus remained on maintaining a personal touch, with Cathy's guiding hand ensuring that the company didn't grow too fast, too soon. As Chick-fil-A expanded nationally, it began to face new challenges. In 2012, the company became embroiled in controversy when it was revealed that its charitable foundation, WinShape, had donated to organizations that opposed LGBTQ+ rights. At the time, CEO Dan Cathy, Truett's son, publicly voiced his support for traditional marriage, sparking national outrage. Protests, boycotts, and fierce debates about the company's stance on social issues followed. The controversy didn't go unnoticed, but in a surprising twist, Chick-fil-A's sales soared in the wake of the backlash. While some customers boycotted the chain, others rallied behind it, and Chick-fil-A Appreciation Day saw record-breaking lines across the country. Dan Cathy later walked back some of his comments, and in 2019, Chick-fil-A announced that it would no longer donate to organizations seen as anti-LGBTQ+. Yet, the company's complicated relationship with social issues remains a divisive topic, even as it continues to grow. Throughout all the ups and downs, Truett Cathy remained deeply committed to his values. Even as Chick-fil-A grew into a multi-billion-dollar empire, Cathy continued to live modestly, investing much of his wealth into charitable causes. His WinShape Foundation, established in 1984, focuses on youth camps, college scholarships, and foster care homes, reflecting Cathy's lifelong commitment to giving back to his community. Cathy's guiding principle, treating people well, became the foundation of the company's culture. From customers to employees, Chick-fil-A has always placed a premium on respect, integrity, and kindness. Cathy's decision to remain closed on Sundays, his personal involvement in selecting franchisees, and his emphasis on hospitality have all contributed to Chick-fil-A's unique place in the fast food industry. When Cathy passed away in 2014 at the age of 93, he left behind not just a successful business, but a legacy of service and leadership. His children, particularly Dan Cathy, have continued to uphold their father's vision while guiding the company through continued expansion. Today, Chick-fil-A operates nearly 3,000 locations, with annual sales surpassing $18 billion, making it the third largest fast food chain in the U.S., behind only McDonald's and Starbucks. The company's innovative drive-through systems, its focus on mobile ordering, and its ability to maintain high-quality service even through the COVID-19 pandemic have solidified its position as a leader in the industry. The story of Chick-fil-A is more than just the tale of a chicken sandwich. It's the story of a man who built a business based on faith, service, and unshakable principles. A business that, despite facing controversy and challenges, remains deeply rooted in the values of its founder. So, what do you think? Does Chick-fil-A's journey inspire you, or do you have a different take on their rise to fame? Let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear your thoughts. If you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more amazing stories, and ring the bell so you never miss an upload. Until next time, keep exploring, stay curious, and we'll see you in the next video.